Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's training session. Mohammad Anwar, Pelco RSM for Central California. Today, we're excited to dive into two of Pelco's innovative solutions, Pelco Elevate and Pelco Calipsa. First, I'd like to introduce Paul Dufresne, our expert sales engineer. Paul will be walking us through the key features of Pelco Elevate. He will also demonstrate how to enroll Pelco cameras into Pelco Elevate portal. As a special incentive, there's an excellent opportunity to win an iPad for those who enroll their cameras. So over to you, Paul.
Hey everyone, Paul Dufresne. I'm the sales engineer for Pelco West Coast. Here to talk a little bit about Elevate, which is a brand new feature on Pelco cameras, and I'm going to share a screen. So you may have heard about Pelco Elevate. It's a new feature, or a relatively new feature, came out late last year in a beta phase. For newer Pelco cameras, right? Think about your Sarx Pro 4s, Sarx Enhanced 4s, all the new devices. And what exactly is Elevate? So right now where Elevate stands, it's a cloud enablement for Pelco cameras. And what does that mean, right? It allows you to talk to an Elevate service that sits up in the cloud. And right now, what that capabilities are, is image health, right? I can determine what the quality of my image is that my cameras are looking at. If I get obscured by dust on the front of the lens, gets pointed in a different direction, all those kind of things. Elevate's going to give you alerts and let you know in two ways. One is an ONVEF alert, as you can see here, down to whatever platform you have that's ONVEF compliant. It'll send down an ONVEF alarm. And also you can schedule, what I get is daily reports of what do my cameras look like. Are there some cameras that might be not performing or not looking at what I expect it to, right? So that's the current version of Elevate. It does a lot of functionality for health checks. You always want to make sure that your cameras are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're looking at what they're supposed to be doing. Oftentimes we get the request where there was a camera down or an incident happened, which is the last thing that you want to have happen, right? So this is a really nice way of constantly giving you information about where your cameras stand within your BMS platform, right? Markets that this applies to, for me, it's anywhere, right? That allows cloud connections, and that's a pretty important conversation there, right? Because what Elevate is actually a service that runs on the camera itself, and it communicates with the Elevate cloud, which is an AWS instance of IoT channel, right? So anywhere that you can have a camera that can communicate with a cloud, that's an absolutely 100% applicable purpose for that, for Elevate. A couple of things that we're trying to look at, like I said, when we're thinking about Elevate, what do we want to solve with this solution, right? If I have to go out and constantly update firmwares, if I have to go check on cameras to make sure that they're all working, or I'm going to rely on a customer to check for me, right? Those are a lot of things that I want to, be able to have automated. I don't want to have to go out and check those myself. If I can have a service that's running on the cameras themselves that automates that whole process and lets me know status of everything, that's a great thing, right? I get a daily report and it's going to show me what's going on, right? The other thing I've been doing Pelco for a long time. Probably the number one issue that we run into with people is outdated firmware on cameras, right? Customers are looking for a certain feature, maybe a cybersecurity vulnerability, a bug that we've known about. Well, you end up looking at the cameras, and the firmware that they have on that camera is 2 or 3 revisions back, and all of those issues have been addressed, right? But it's not, a lot of times that those cameras don't get updated. So one of the features that's going to be released this month, or excuse me, in June of 2024, is the ability to be able to push software updates to the camera automatically. And again, image health is a really important one. Oftentimes you'll have cameras that are obscured or dust covered or pointing in a different direction. So again, that's giving you multiple location reports of what's going on with your cameras, all within a single web dashboard that we'll take a look at here shortly. And we talked about the camera updates. Cybersecurity is an important feature on there. Everyone wants to know if you're talking about cloud that hey, I'm not going to get hacked or my transmissions aren't going to be sniffed, right? So Motorola being very cognizant of cybersecurity, we put a lot of protections in place to be able to secure all that information going from the camera up to the cloud, right? So, well, like I said, we're using AWS IoT services. You know, another thing Motorola has is a cybersecurity managed service that you can get, and it'll do investigations on your platform, on your systems, check for cybersecurity threats, take a look at those, and make sure that everything is secure on your systems. Current generation of cameras that are Elevate enabled, and some of these firmwares are out currently, right? If you see on there, it's all the relatively new cameras, right? And if you've been doing Pelco for a while, you know, we've got a slew of IP cameras. Some of the older generations are not going to be Elevate enabled. Let's say Cerix Enhanced 3, Cerix Pro 3. Some of the older cameras, you're not going to find this feature in there, right? It's all the relatively new ones that we have available for us, right? So Enhanced 4, Pro 4, Cerix Fisheye, Multi-Enhanced. Those are all with firmware updates on the cameras. Probably be the last time you have to do a firmware update once the firmware management comes around. That gives you that ability to be able to download it, install it, and then once, you know, cloud-based firmware management gets enabled this month, you'll be able to do that automatically or schedule that, right? So that's a really nice feature to be able to have that instead of having to download and push everything out. I'm going to skip through some of those use cases. The one last thing I'll talk about, and it was something that had been shown at ISC West of this year, is another new feature that's coming out. Probably about September of this year, you'll have visible firearm detection. That is an analytic that'll be running within Elevate, and 100% or as close as you can get verification up into the Elevate cloud, right? So that's going to be an exciting new feature. Keep your ear to the ground, something that'll be coming out very shortly, and that's good stuff. I just want to kind of walk through here. This is a camera I have in the demo center of the Fresno office, right? This is a Cerix Enhanced 4. Now, I've updated the firmware on this camera to the latest 4.80. And one of the things that you'll notice on here is there is a new tab on here. If you've ever looked at the web pages of Pelco.com or web pages of a Pelco camera, you've never seen the Elevate tab before, right? So this is a great way to, I'm going to walk through how to enable this camera in Elevate, and it's really, really, really simple. So the first thing you want to do is create an Elevate account, elevate.pelco.com. You can go ahead and create an account right here. Click on the account creation page. I'm just going to go ahead and I've already got one entered in here, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And you see I've got a couple cameras in there already on my Elevate cloud, and I'll walk through here just quickly. If I look at the Elevate cloud right now, to be able to connect a camera to it, all I've got to do is click on camera connection. And what that's going to do is ask for a token. Now that token is generated by my web page, right? And all I've got to do is click on add a camera. It gives me a very complex token that I'm going to paste in there, and it'll automatically add the camera in, right? So I'm at the Elevate web page. I grab a token, going to copy it, click on that little link, go back over to the camera page, paste it in. And now this camera, which wasn't in my Elevate link, now this camera has been added in, right? So I'm going to close that. I'm going to refresh the page. And now previously I had 2 cameras. Now I have 3 cameras. That enhanced camera is now added into my Elevate system, right? And this is a lot of good information in here. You know, the model number, serial number, where my warranty expires, a lot of really good detail on there. There's some training that you can look at on help.elevate.com that'll tell you about all the features and forms on all these are, right? Set down. Get rid of that. Now, one of the things on Elevate is that I get a daily report of what's going on with my cameras, and this is only going to have the 2 cameras. I just added that one in. So here's an email that I get from Elevate. I click on the image report, gives me a nice PDF of everything that's going on with my cameras. I got 2 cameras enabled. Obviously, you might have some more, last 24 hours. It also telling me the status. And so nothing's changed on there. All is good. I can go on with my day, right? And so if you saw something that had changed, it's going to let you know which cameras that there might have been some recent changes on there, or something happened to it, whether it got obscured, moved, whatever. It's going to let you know on that report. And again, I also, like I said, it also does that with OnVIF, right? Last thing we'll talk about on Elevate. Again, it's free to sign up for an Elevate account. If you have some of those new cameras, go ahead and sign them up. If you're cloud enabled, go ahead and do it. One of the things that we have a promo right now with Elevate is your chance to win an iPad. So if you connect up an Elevate enabled camera, you register the camera for the contest, away you go. You're going to be able to have a chance to get an iPad. It's a great thing. Right? That's it for me, Mohammed.
Great thing indeed, Paul. I do have a couple of questions, and I'd like to ask those for the sake of some of the people that are watching. First of all, is Elevate free? And why? Are all the features on Elevate free? How does
Yeah, so
is it connected to the cloud?
Yeah, so yeah, Elevate is a free offering on the cameras themselves, right? At this point, the image health, the software updates, those are all free of charge. To create an account is free. You have Elevate is covered for the warranty of the camera, and when we get to that point where a lot of those cameras are relatively new, you'll be able to extend out the Elevate on those cameras themselves, right? Some of the newer features that aren't released, like I was talking about visible firearm detection, probably coming out about September of this year. That will be a fee for that one. That's an add-on, a license per camera that you want to have the visible firearm detection, right?
And what does it mean that? What does it mean by the fact that the camera is connected to the cloud? Is there any recording that's being done? What kind of interface is needed to work to make the Elevate work with third-party VMS systems?
Yeah, so yeah, Elevate is not a recording system, right? It is two things that we're looking to accomplish with Elevate. One is management of your edge devices, your cameras, and automate some of those processes and get away from having to have a myriad of different management softwares to be able to update firmwares, check the status of the cameras, right? So Elevate is a cloud-based health of your overall camera, right? It's not doing a recording. The second piece is the analytic piece. And like, when I was talking about visible firearm detection, it is sending, if I saw a firearm within a field of view of a camera, it's going to send a clip up, or they call it a chip of a small section that detected that weapon, send that up to the Elevate cloud for further verification that it is an event. The final piece of that is the Elevate cloud then talks to any VMS platform, sending OnVIF alerts back to that VMS platform, so you get live notifications that those things have happened. And all of this happens extremely quickly. We're talking within seconds from the time a firearm will be detected, or from the time that it determines that a camera's changed. It's going to give really quick notifications.
Got it. So Pelco Elevate is talking to the Pelco Elevate portal via the organization's internet connection, basically, right? Just like any other outbound traffic?
Correct.
Got it. Thank you. And the other question I wanted to ask was about the health feature of the camera, the scene change, right? Is there a certain percentage that can be customized as far as scene changes are concerned? So if there's a change, 10% change, 15% change, or is it something that's standard?
Yeah, that's not configurable at this point. It's looking for what if things change within there, and it's the entire scene, right? So it's not like, hey, I want to look at, highlight a certain section that I want to look at the change of scene. Right now, it's evaluating the entire thing to see, have the pixels change enough to that it's out of focus, right, or something obscuring it, spider web, some kind of dust, oil, dirt, something on the front of the dome or enclosure.
Got it. So it's not, so if there was a truck in front of the camera blocking the image for more than 15, 20 minutes, is that something that's going to trigger?
Yeah, that might throw up an alert on that, right? I had one where a gentleman it was actually Elevate running on a thermal camera, right? And there was a gentleman working on, I have that in our data center looking at our cooling, right? And there was a gentleman in there working on the cooling for an extended period of time. And Elevate actually threw up a alert to me, letting me know that something had changed within that scene, because he was a very big size presence within that field of view on the cooling system, right? And it gave me an alert that something was happening in there.
So it'll show up on the reports, and you can actually get an alert as well.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And one last thing, the automatic firmware feature, is that something that needs to be enabled when the camera is enrolled in, or is it something that's automatically enabled, and can that be disabled if needed?
Yeah, that's a conscious effort on the who's ever configuring the camera that it has to be turned on. The idea is also schedulable, right? So I could take a group of cameras, I've got 100 cameras, and maybe I want to do 10 at a time, and then schedule off hours of when I'm going to be doing those updates, right? So, yeah, completely configurable on there. And yes, you have to turn it on. That's not something that's automatic, right?
Great. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to introduce Andrew, our Senior Business Development Manager for Pelco Calipsa. Andrew will provide an overview of Pelco Calipsa and demonstrate the forensic search feature, showing you how this tool can significantly enhance your security investigations.
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Andrew Gyimesi. I'm a Senior Business Development Manager, specifically on the Calipsa side for Motorola, which is now under the Pelco umbrella, obviously. Just to touch on what you were talking about, Mohammad, the Elevate feature, the image health. We do have that feature within Pelco Calipsa as well. The big differentiator for where Elevate is obviously it's embedded into the firmware, so it's pretty much as easy as it can be to enable, and a big differentiator now for Pelco cameras. So yeah, I'm gonna give you a quick overview of Calipsa and the 4 features we offer, and then ultimately giving you a just quick run through of the Investigate feature, which is very unique and powerful feature when it comes to doing forensic analysis and investigations in a quick period of time. So I'm going to go ahead and just share a quick white paper that outlines the 4 features we have. Mohammed, can I just get a okay that we can see the screen okay?
Yes, we're good.
Cool. Yep. So as I mentioned with Pelco Calipsa, the idea is to make the cameras smarter by pretty much leveraging the cloud. And how we do this is pretty much configure the cameras to send alerts to Calipsa's cloud servers. And they could be any alert. So it could be simple motion detection. It can be, a smart analytic you might have from the camera's capabilities. Really, as long as we're able to receive those alerts, we can improve upon them very much so by leveraging the cloud, and also do a whole bunch of cool things that I'll talk about with these features. Our first feature I'll talk about, and pretty much was the core, Calipsa business back in the day, and our claim to fame, if you will, is Pelco Calipsa Basic. So this is pretty much, sending motion triggers to Calipsa, or really any alerts, like I said, and having Calipsa's AI analyze those alerts to verify that they've been triggered by a human or vehicle. As we know, false alarms are a huge plague in the industry. So things like trees blowing in the wind, shadows, lighting changes, weather like snow and rain, all these are a big nuisance when you're doing event-based monitoring or event-driven video in general. So leveraging the cloud and using this feature allows the AI to verify each and every alarm that comes in, and we filter out really all the noise. So in doing this, we're about, we're removing about 95% of the false alarm rate. We have a lot of VMS integrations with this. So for instance, Pelco cameras going into Milestone or Genetec, we can easily communicate with those systems to have every Pelco alert or every camera alert in general just get verified by AI before reaching that VMS. The second feature is Pelco Calipsa Basic Plus. This is very similar to the Elevate feature, the image health. This is scene change detection again. Again, the difference between this feature and the Elevate feature is the Elevate feature is embedded into the Pelco firmware, so it's very easy for Pelco cameras to take advantage of this. Whereas with the Basic Plus, you can use any camera and take advantage of this, but you'll just need to send us alerts. From there, we are able to set a reference image, and then with all the incoming alerts coming to Calipsa, we can compare each and every alert at least 2 times a day against that reference image to determine if the camera's scene has moved, if it's blurred, black screen, if it's offline. We have advanced idle detection alerting you if it hasn't alerted in a parameter of time that you've set. So really just an overall camera health feature you're able to take advantage of with any camera just by sending us alerts. The third feature is Pelco Calipsa Core. This is going to allow you to make rules. So again, you are sending, for instance, motion alerts to us, and you can pick certain rules or criteria that tells the AI what to verify and what not to verify. So for instance, things like loitering or crowd forming alerts, we won't verify any alert unless they've satisfied these rules. So it pretty much gives you the opportunity to do a lot more advanced analytics with, dumber cameras, for lack of a better term. So instead of having to, rip and replace, older hardware for the top of the line stuff to take advantage of what you need, you can easily use a feature like this, just leverage the cloud and take advantage of it right away. The last feature is Pelco Calipsa Pro. This is the powerful forensic analysis tool I'm going to go into. Allows you, since we have so much alarm data coming into Calipsa, we're leveraging that alarm data for forensic analysis. And I'll actually just stop sharing my screen and share the tool for you right now just to get into it and talk deeper about that specifically. Give me 1 second. Okay. There we go. All right, so we're just going to log into the Calipsa platform. As you can see, the dashboard, and then when you scroll over to the left, you'll have an Investigate tab where you'll be able to access this feature. So a very unique part of this feature is you actually don't just you don't only take advantage of the feature with alarms coming into our platform. This is one way to use the feature. Another way that we've created is we've built a video analyzer where essentially you can export any video and upload it to our platform. And when I mean upload it, what we're doing is we're analyzing it through our AI algorithm and turning, say you upload 24 hours of footage using the analyzer, we're turning that into vehicle and human detections. So we're essentially getting rid of all the video where nothing's happening and only showing you pretty much alarms where human and vehicles are moving. And you're effectively able to search through those alarms. So I know people who have used, phone videos and body-worn camera videos. So really, this gives you the option to export any sort of video and upload it to the platform and conduct forensic analysis with that video. What I'm going to show you today, however, is going to be cameras that are connected to Calipsa, so cameras that are just sending us alarms at all times. So this is where you will pretty much click either, sites that are connected to Calipsa sending us alarms, or if you were to click here, video files, this is where you would see your uploaded files. Say you took a video or a phone camera video or a body worn camera video, you would find that here if you uploaded it. Again, I'm going to use the connected cameras. So we'll just click on a client, sites, and camera. So we got 15 selected. We'll do the last 24 hours. And this is a natural language search where you can pretty much search right away for what you're trying to find within those alarms. So I'll go ahead and press search. The natural language is still right here. But as you can see, through this site, we're searching through about 43,000 alarms. You can see it by camera right here. Pretty much every single detection that's happened in the last 24 hours. You can go to full frame instead of just object. You can click on it, view each alarm. So it's, again, just searching through all these alarms for specific instances of human and vehicle activity. So there's two ways you can search through this. One is just by using filters, where you can just kind of filter it down based on things you're worried about. So show me all the alarms where there's a street view. With a vehicle, we'll make that vehicle white, and it's going to show you the top matches for a white vehicle and things like that. But what's really cool is the natural language search, where you're able to search specifically just by typing. It's kind of like Google for your alarms, and you can say things like man in red shirt, and it's going to show you the top rated matches for a man in red shirt. And you're easily searching through hours and hours of video for these specific instances. And you can actually, once you find an object that's specific for your investigation, you can actually conduct similarity searches right within the platform. So finding similar enough objects that have passed through this camera or this site right away. And then you can start to build your report just by pinboarding alarms. So we'll take a couple alarms. Looks good. And then another feature you can do aside from similarity searches, you can go to specific cameras and actually draw an area of interest. So we'll take this camera, for instance. This is the camera view, and you can just draw a polygon and tell the system to show me all the alarms where human and vehicles have passed through this area, and it'll show you every relevant alarm that has passed, or human and vehicle detection that's passed through that area. Once you are done finding relevant alarms and you think you have enough data to build a report, you'll press this build report button and select the alarms you'd like to include into the report. And then you'll easily be able to name the report, summarize it, and it's going to show you every date and time, object, and full frame of each alarm you've selected. You can even edit these images and do things like mark them up. We'll draw a circle over our man in red shirt, kind of just giving you every tool you need to build that report, and then you can easily export it. So again, this is a fully cloud-based feature. You can upload video from everywhere or just send alarms to the platform, and it's meant to really cut down the time you spend on investigation. So rather than searching through 24 or 48 hours of footage on 3 times speed, you can easily just kind of type for what you're looking for and search through the alarms of all the human and vehicle detections within those 48 hours and drastically cut down the time while you're building a forensic report. So with that, I can probably hand it back to you, Mohammad, unless there's questions on your end. I'm happy to answer those as well.
Sure. No, this is very impressive, and amazing thing is you can do it with any IP camera system that's out there, right? So is there any hardware required to make it work on third-party VMS solutions, or is it basically they're enrolling the cameras through the Calipsa portal?
Yeah. So
Any, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, any hardware, any software installation that's required to make this work?
Yeah, so no, we take pride of being a fully cloud-based solution. Through VMS integrations, we're meant to just fit right into the existing infrastructure. So really not changing anything you're currently doing, and just plugging Calipsa right in between the equation, and it's not gonna disrupt anything. So we've built native integrations with cameras and VMSs to where we can receive the data from the cameras or the VMSs just through our integrations and the technology communicating over the cloud. Again, as Paul mentioned, we have cybersecurity measures and have AWS's server providers and things like that. But it's really just leveraging the cloud, and in doing so, we can just use existing hardware, existing infrastructure, and put Calipsa in the mix to enhance everything and make it better.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Andrew. This concludes our session for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. If there are any questions, or if you'd like a detailed demo of any of Pelco products or solutions, please feel free to reach out. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Paul and Andrew for their valuable contributions. Thank you. See you next time.